Good morning and welcome to Presence of Light with Charlie Riverman Bergeron here on Humanity Healing. My apologies for being a few minutes late as the internet was not responding in a way that would transfer my files and allow me to get on. So as usual, we have the world around us that challenges us. And the title of today's talk is A New Freedom. And I'm not sure if that's appropriate or not now. So bear with me. It's good to be with you. Good morning, Joanne. Margaret, bless your heart. You're going to love this talk this morning because as I wrote the show notes, I was thinking of you and how several weeks ago you mentioned something about my doing A Course in Miracles and being a facilitator. So this is really, this is what came through this morning, unannounced to me from my angels and guides. So, excuse me. Yes, clear your throat, Charlie. This is going to be a wonderful day. So today is the 22nd. It's 1/22/2021. And when you add all those numbers up, it's a 10. It's a new beginning. And so that's kind of where the title of the show came from, A New Freedom. And for some reason this morning, I felt very free. And I can't explain exactly why. But there's a relief for all of us, I think, that what took place here in America over the inauguration, that the violence that could have been never arose or showed up in the fashion that we were fearing. And that's a blessing. That's a blessing for the world. Because not only would those of us who live in the United States be suffering as a result of that, that suffering ripples out into the world. And irregardless of taking sides or who does what or who's right or who's wrong, we in the moment we have any kind of global crisis, we all become victimized. And because we're all humans, we're all here, we're all beings of light and love, whether we choose to acknowledge that or not. And so when something happens to any of us, it's like the trees in the forest. When you cut one down, all the other trees feel it. That energetic connection for us is just so amazing. This is part of this new freedom, is to become more aware of how deeply we are connected energetically. It isn't just about where we live, what we eat, who our nationality is, where our ancestors came from. We're all members of the family of Mother Earth. We are all Earth beings. And this is the important message, as I see it, in this sort of envisioning a new freedom. Because the word freedom, and I'm going to get off my topic for today just for this moment, is that our concept of freedom has been fraudulent. And what we've been told is freedom is not necessarily freedom at all. Because when we look around the world and we put the word freedom on the label on the world, we realize that there aren't many free people at all. And so it's a word that's been used and spread by those who want you to believe what they tell you freedom is. And true freedom is connecting with that divine self and listening to that divine self as you might interpret it. We have all been taught different teachings. We all come from different cultures, different religions, different backgrounds. But the essence of that divine self, that true self of creation, flows through all of us equally and without judgment. Which takes me to this little book that you can't read the print on because it's dog-eared and worn. This is A Course in Miracles. And several weeks ago, Margaret mentioned the Course in Miracles, and I sort of chuckled when I read it because it's something I do, and it's something I have done. I was a facilitator 25 years ago, and what came to me this morning was one little card that I have this deck of cards on my desk downstairs, and I've had it on my desk forever. And the message of that for today was, try then today to begin to look on all things with love, appreciation, and open-mindedness. And it's a powerful message. And I'm going to read it again. Try then today to begin to look on all things with love, appreciation, and open-mindedness. Because this is freedom. When we can do that, we are freeing ourselves from all other person's concepts, belief systems, rules, regulations, and we're tapping into our heart and that connected field of energy. So, it's funny how this just came together this morning, and I wasn't anticipating any of this because we really truly are a collective existence of all life forms on this planet. And we're all being reminded now how important it is for us to come back into balance with nature, with all of nature, because we're part of nature. We're not separate from nature. Yes, we can build these 90,000 mile high buildings to live in. We can do all of these amazing technological things with radio waves and frequencies, but we're still a part of nature. It doesn't, no matter how much we want to believe we're superior or we have power over, we are nature. We are natural beings. And if the system that supports the natural evolution is not there, neither will we be here. So this is the swings of energy that we're feeling right now, that all of this, what's happening is just a sign. And it's just a brief sign, a message, if you will, which is basically telling us to wake up and relook at who we are, what we're doing, why we're doing it, because it's the indicator of a dangerous imbalance. And that's all it is. It's a message. Just like this message was the message that was laying on my desk this morning that triggered me this morning. Try then today to begin to look on all things with love, appreciation, and open-mindedness. Now, I know most of you who are here and associated with Humanity Healing, and or listen to me talk and have for whatever times I have come on here every week. And I thank you. And I know that you're all open to seeing better in life, to seeing the better in you, to see the opportunity for our children and our children's children to inherit a beautiful place to live and commune, and have their children. And this is what we're being called to do right now. And what's amazing is if you look at the Course in Miracles, and I'll hold it up again. This is an amazing book. You can do this online. You have a Course in Miracles, and it comes online, and you can go day by day. And the work book is basically daily, and you start with lesson number 1, and every day you do it. So normally, if you began at the beginning of the year, we'd be on lesson 22. So I looked at lesson 22, just for grins, and just to see if there was a synchronicity. And this is how we really need to communicate, is on this higher level of asking the universe, asking God, asking the angels, asking whatever we believe in to communicate with us directly, not through somebody else. It's nice when it comes through me to you or you to me, but let's open up that gateway so that we talk directly, heart to whatever. Excuse me. So the lesson for today, okay, if you started on January 1st, you would be on day 22, which would be lesson 22. And lesson 22 is this: what I see is a form of vengeance. I'll repeat that. What I see is a form of vengeance. So when we look around the world at what's happening in the world and all of this, this is what we apply that to. What I see is a form of vengeance. And I know that doesn't make sense to the human brain. But the Course is asking us to look at the world around us 5 times today. During your day today, look at the world around you as if you just don't understand it and you're trying to figure it out. Look at it with a blank mind, with a new mind. Okay? And they have these questions that, and you can, as I say, you can look it up online, that says when you do this 5 times a day, say to yourselves these statements: I see only the perishable. I see nothing that will last. What I see is not real. What I see is a form of vengeance. And that may sound bizarre for you to say, why would I look at the world and say, I only see the perishable, I only see that nothing that will last? What the Course in Miracles does for us is it presents us the opposition to what we think. It provides us with an opposing view to look at. And it helps us to realize that many times in our world of daily life, we paint the world with our own colors. We paint the world with our own what we want. And what happens is, during the day, we're confronted with it's not like what we painted. It's not like our fantasy. And in that moment, it disturbs us. We may not be consciously aware of it because the brain is always trying to look at life the way we hope it is, rather than the way it truly is. So the whole message of this is to ask ourselves at the end, is this the world I really want to see? So it gives us a point of view to look at of negativity, of what may be disturbing, and then to ask ourselves, to ask our heart, is this the world I want to see? So I encourage each of you, whether you tap into the Course in Miracles or not is irrelevant, but to start looking at the world from a new perspective and take a look and question yourself as to what is my relationship here in this new world, in this new freedom. I have the freedom to see the world in any way I want. That's my sovereign freedom. But then the final question is the important one. Is this the world I really want to see? So when we look out of these beautiful little eyes of ours and we see the world as disgusting or filthy or negative or whatever it is that the world I want to see? Because what we see is what we will keep creating. And it sounds strange, but this is entrainment. The human minds get entrained and they don't necessarily always follow what their heart wants. This is the communication system here with our outer world. This is the real communication system. How many times, how many talks have I had where I keep telling you to come back into your hearts? And it's about coming back into our hearts where the love exists, where the peace exists, and where the light exists. So this was my journey coming back from death 29 years ago. And 25 years ago, I was guided by my angels. That's all I knew back then was angels. I had no other connection with any of the teachings that I now know. And I was drawn to A Course in Miracles. And 25 years ago, I started to facilitate a group. And I was given these cards as a goodbye gift from the class, the group that I was in. I wasn't the facilitator of that group. I was just a member of that group and had been for several years. And at first it was all strange. But what it really does, and all of us really need to do, is to question why. And this word why came up on the top of the pages in this book. And I can show you how scribbled they are. Those little scribblings at the top of the page were my responses to the lessons. And this was my response 25 years ago. Why? What are the experiences through error in thinking we do not want? And my answer to that for today's lesson was discover our own responsibility for our unhappiness by becoming the observer of what we do. I won't put that in the, if I can copy and see if I can write a comment, paste. I'm going to put that there in the chat box or the whatever it is, message board. this is what's happening right now for us, is to come into that place where we know that we have this ability to see things differently. We know that we're being guided from a higher level of existence, an existence that is free from all of the pain and suffering. It knows no pain and suffering. And this is where we as a collective now have an opportunity to enter into that field. And what I call it is, it's a field of self-discovery. That 2021 is offering this new freedom as a field of self-discovery, an opportunity, a grand opportunity in the greater evolution of humanity to really take another look, peel off all the stickers and post-it notes we've put all over our lives, and open our hearts and really say, this hurts. This hurts. What can I do to make it different? What can I do to help others? Because in helping others, I help myself. Because in working with others, I see myself. With working with nature, I see what's happening in nature, and what's happening in nature is happening to me because I can't be separated from nature. I cannot be separated from the planet. No matter what you do, you can't be separated until we die. The question today is, do I want to die for the rest of my life, or do I want to live for the rest of my life? And living is really about being part of something greater than we are, and experiencing that and contributing and co-creating with it. And this is the freedom that we need, not the political freedom that we've been taught as being righteous and fulfilling. Because as we can see, it doesn't serve everyone, does it? What it does, it serves to divide people. It brings a wedge between people. It doesn't bring them together. And that's the great lesson. That's the great lesson that we're all learning, no matter what country we live in around the planet. The ideology that created the civilization is faulted. It can't be held in perfection because it can always be adjusted by someone or something that has a personal agenda. It's not a collective agenda. It tries to be. This is what democracy is supposed to be about. It tries to bring people together so that they can discuss and change things. But as we can see, there are faults. And what's happening now is we're being called. Each one of us are being called right now to self-discovery and awareness of who we really are and what we can really present and how we can really assist each other. But first, we have to see what the negatives are. And if we keep painting those pretty pictures over all of the negative things, we just live in that pretty picture world, in that little art museum that we've created. and we don't see reality. So, with that said, I'm going to read this next card, which is crumpled up and written on. It was stuck to the cellophane, to the tape that was holding the box together for all these 25 years. And it's text number 22. Not lesson 22. There's a text part of this, but it's text 22. So here you go. Is the children of God are entitled to the perfect comfort that comes from perfect trust. Until they achieve this, they waste themselves and their true creative powers on useless attempts to make themselves more comfortable by inappropriate means. Now, that's just what I described. And I didn't plan these cards. I didn't plan to pick, I didn't look. This was just there. And I just wanted to unstick it from the cellophane tape. And this is the message. This is text 22 for day 22 of January. Coincidence? I'm not buying that. And to confirm even deeper synchronicity, where's my cards here? Okay. This is an angel card. And the reason I picked an angel card today was because after my death experience, that's all I knew about was angels. So everything was angels to me. Not that they appeared as angels, but that's all I could understand as some otherworldly communication system that we had. And it was the angels that taught me synchronicity, that synchronicity is a language, not an excuse for things. And so the synchronicity brought me to this book, Angel Blessings by Kimberly Maroney. And I bought this book at the same store that I was doing facilitating the Course in Miracles at in Portsmouth, New Hampshire 25 years ago. So this has been a go-to book for me for 25 years because I was trying to find an explanation for what was happening to me. And when, this is a process of learning and understanding that we have far greater communication system with the universe than we ever have been told, we ever have been taught. And this is why there are governments who don't want us to do that. Because with that, we tap into our sovereignty. Not that we don't need to follow rules, we have community rules, but when we act on our own true, highest self, pure light self, we don't need a government. We don't need rulers because we act from our hearts. So the card I picked today was Fortunata, the angel Fortunata, whose message is prosperity. How could we be more prosperous than if we were fully aligned with who we are, honoring who we truly are as the divine masculine and feminine beings that we are, in balance? How much fortune is that? How much prosperity? Perhaps it doesn't show up in gold coins or dollars in the bank, But I'm sure it will be aligned with that, because when we're in full alignment, prosperity, I forgot the word, prosperity is attached to it. It's not separated from it. So many of us are suffering right now from a lack of prosperity, or what we consider a lack of prosperity. And yet we're in the most prosperous environment, Mother Earth, who does nothing but give and give and give, no matter what we do to her. We poison her, we rape her, we wound her, we change her structure, we scar her face. As a living being, would you do that to another person? And yet this is the provider of our sustenance for our physicality. It's amazing how far out of touch we've become. And then here's the message from Fortunata. Do you focus on things and worldly success, experiencing a poverty-stricken soul? And trust me, I didn't choose these. This is guidance, brings all of this through. Freedom lies in the balance of being able to use and enjoy the abundance of this material world without thinking that your life depends upon it. This is the result of a supportive mind and emotional body, a faith in the creative principles of abundance and desire, and a deep connection within your purpose or divine plan. According to the creative principle, abundance is always available. Anything you say or think is a decree of creation. Think about that one. The energy that's generated from your thoughts and feelings forms a structure around you that draws others to you with similar energy patterns. Think about that. When we're negative, what are we attracting? Other negative. When we're positive, we're attracting positive. Listen to yourself talk as you go through the day, which was the message of the Course in Miracles today, was to stop and listen to yourself as you go through the day, and intentionally ask yourself questions that you normally wouldn't ask because you don't want to see the negativity that we're creating unconsciously. Nobody's choosing. I mean, maybe there are people in the world. I'm going to give them the benefit of the doubt. I think they're just lost people who are in pain and suffering, who are reacting to that pain and suffering. I don't think that they intentionally want to hurt anyone. They want to feel comfortable within themselves. It goes on to say in another section, the moment you catch yourself being critical or judgmental is a magical moment of power. Those are my inflections. Magic. When we can become aware, that moment we become aware of our criticalness or our judgmental ability, it's a moment of awareness that we can change, because we have that power to change it only if we become aware of it. So that moment, that spark of awareness is really key. simply choose to change from a limiting to a loving energy. When we limit ourselves, when we say, I can't do it, or I'm not good enough, or I don't have enough, or whatever, what are we doing in those moments? Limiting our energy fields. The power of creation is within each of us. And when we limit it, we get exactly what is limited. Shift your thought patterns to love even the people that hurt us, even the people that we don't have to love them in the way we think of love, but love them as a living being whose pain is so unbearable that they don't know how to control it. And it comes at us. We don't have to associate with those people. We don't have to go into a place of trying to help them. But on some level of our true heart, we need to be able to send them love. And my advice for everybody is to pull away from those relationships. And I know that's not easy. I've been through them all. It's not easy. I still go through them. It's not easy. But it's the way of returning to realizing that my love that I have for others is more important than defending myself from somebody else's inability to love themselves. And I'm not going into examples at this point, as I'm almost done. Bear with me. At that moment, you are consciously choosing what you wish to create. And this comes back to we are creator beings who need to shift and create for the good of the whole rather than the individual. It's an opportunity to choose mastery, which is an abundance. And that's what the card is about. Prosperity. Abundance. Prosperity is abundance. Without putting what you're abundant in. But what it is, it's an abundance. Prosperity is as a gift, you have so much abundance that you can't hold it all. You have to give it away. The angel's name is Fortunata. Call on her. Call on her and your eternal self to help you see the truth of who you truly are inside this beautiful heart of yours, and to focus here, knowing that as we feed the energy in our heart, the only way it can express is outwardly after that, because we will reach a point of so much abundance that it will radiate automatically on its own. And then all we have to do in that moment is align this mind up here, this split half computer system, this divided computer system, come together The hands, watch the hands. They come together. The two halves of the brain come together and act through the heart. Aligning your mind and your feelings to support you and your desires of a new freedom. Desires of a new freedom, a freedom to be the sovereign being that you are, of loving energy. Powerful day, powerful week, powerful year. It's a powerful time to be alive right now. We have young children who need to hear us awakening, who need to see us taking responsibility. Because as we can see in the world, there are now children who are becoming far more powerful in their own right, teaching us, who have chosen to stand in their sovereignty. And maybe they're here to teach us. So I bless you. I'm going to go down the sort of the list here and see what I can. I don't know how I do that. How do I get over there? Scroll. Okay. Oh, there we go. So bless you all for being here. Thank you for your appreciation. Watching later for those of you, it's always here on Humanity Healing's page. I usually post a link on my Facebook page. Eventually, I will write the blog post, which has my show notes in it, and that's posted on my blog page, which you can find by finding me on Facebook, Charlie Riverman Bergeron, and and realize that I'm not trying to talk to you from some higher level. I am you. I'm equal to you. I walk the same walk you do. I struggle with the same daily issues that each of you do. I've only had the gift of experiencing something far more powerful than most humans have, and even a lot of the people that have experienced their death experiences come back, and it's fearful for them to tap into, because it defies logic. It defies the rules and regulations and the teachings that so many have taught us for so many years. It creates a place of surrender in all of us. And this is what surrender is: not a bad thing. Surrender to something higher than ourselves and greater than ourselves, which is beneficent and has our best interest in its heart, if you will, is really just coming back into wholeness. And that's all I can talk about, is about coming back into wholeness, because I've witnessed it personally, and I experience it daily and in the moment. And this is what the new freedom is all about. And when that title came, I wasn't so sure. I said, I don't want to. I don't want to get political. I don't want, because that's freedom to me has always been a political issue. And what the awakening for me today was that freedom is not political at all. Freedom is our sovereign right to exist. And that's the message of the angels, and that's the message of the Course in Miracles. And this is the message of all the great teachings that we've had, irregardless of where in the world our ancestral teaching comes from. That was the basis of all of it. And over time, we've manipulated it and maneuvered it in order to create an attractor field for one group or one group of people instead of for the whole. Margaret, the external messages of fear and vengeance, death and dying are false. We are here to wake and live in the trust like children. This is the time we've been waiting for. Thanks for this, Charlie. Thank you, Margaret. As I said in the beginning, I chuckled when you said something about you would love to hear me expound or do a Course in Miracles course again. And that may happen, I don't know. But today was the message of how valid that has been in my life and in shifting my conscious awareness. And it's over 25 years old. I can't tell you when it was started or written. I probably could, but it's irrelevant. You can find it on the web, and you can do it by yourself. And just be gentle. Just be gentle, because there's a lot of things. It's written in the masculine tense. It's written as Jesus. This is Jesus speaking, and Jesus channeling from Jesus. So many people will have a lot of issues with all of that. And that's the intention. How do we get through all of these issues that keep us from getting the message of truth within us? That we are sovereign beings, that we are loved eternally, and that we do not have to struggle. We have been given this planet to dwell on, this planet of abundance. And what have we done? I love you all. I thank you all. I respect you all. So let's do that as a blessing to the waters in you. I love you. I thank you. I respect you. I am you. You are me. We are unity. For those of you who might be interested, I'm doing a Japamala series on the connection field, which is part of Good of the Whole, every night at 10 p.m. Eastern. And you're more than welcome to join in on Facebook or come into the Zoom room. The information is usually there. And bless you all. These are exciting times we're in, and each one of you are being called to be a part of that excitement. So thank you for coming this far and listening to silly old me. I love you. Blessings. Thank you.